My name is Patrick Arnold Tufford, Patrick Arnold Tufford. My childhood was very unpleasant. My real mother is an alcoholic. My father's an alcoholic. My mother left me when I was a year old. I think it was probably had a lot to do with her mental issues and her alcohol and drug issues. So I grew up around a lot of outlaws. Whenever I was with him, I went to the bars when I was as young as 8, 9 years old. I mean, it was nothing for me to go in a bar. I didn't even think twice about it. Then he remarried a woman, and she was very verbally abusive and sometimes physically. Suffered from a lot of mental issues that were never dealt with as a child. Well, I would say that I've battled with drinking my whole life, and upon getting divorced and having to raise my children, I began to drink more and more the older they got, which began to just send me down a road that was not very nice. Ended up losing my house and my job. My kids had to be sent to live with other family members. They were foreclosing on my house, and I'd gotten the boys situated. I was battling alcoholism, I mean, just really bad alcoholism. And so I thought that if I went to Michigan and stayed with my sister for a little while, that somehow, maybe that would help and I could, kind of work past it. I even went through a rehab program while I was in Michigan. It just didn't take. One day I took a drink and that was the end of it. I started all back over again. And any alcoholic will tell you, the second time, third time, it gets worse every time. Till finally my brother-in-law came in, handed me $5, drove me to the bus station, stuck me with a one-way ticket back to Little Rock, and I got off the Greyhound bus there in North Little Rock. Here I am, nowhere to stay, nowhere to live. Drunk at the time. At that point, I became homeless and lived on the streets here in Little Rock for close to 3 years. It was miserable. Slept outside more times than I care to count or think about. Spent weeks out there. As my alcoholism progressed and my mental states, my mental issues became worse, a lot because of the alcohol. I became suicidal. I drank even more to the point where on several occasions I almost died. And so I spent 30 years trying to kill myself. And then one day I stopped. I was taken to the emergency room. Once I made it there, they immediately took me to PRI. There happened to be a social worker there that interned here at our house. And she sat down and talked to me. I explained to her the situation. She made a phone call to somebody here, I don't know who, gave me bus fare, and sent me here. And that's where I've been since then. I do get the feeling that people here at our house do care and that they are trying to help. So that was different to me. Since then, I've had the opportunity to work here as well, which I really enjoy a lot. I'm supposed to be the grounds guy, but I do just about everything. Anything anybody needs done, I pretty much do. And actually, I guess it was just a blessing. I mean, something that I needed at the right time to be able to utilize the skills I do have. I built log homes for 18 years. Me and my dad owned a company, and it was interesting. It's brutal work. I mean, I'd progressed to a point where I couldn't even, physically, I was just torn apart, so I couldn't really do what I'd done my whole life since I was like 9, 10 years old. It wasn't what I expected because it's not your average homeless shelter, you know what I'm saying? The homeless shelters I've stayed in were not as nice, not as goal-oriented either, you know, because there's so many programs and opportunities here to, you know, set goals and make them. For me, the job training program is teaching me skills as far as, you know, the computer. We learn about stress and how to deal with it. You know, those are things you wouldn't normally get at a job. So it helps, I think what it helps us job trainees do is learn to deal with situations that normally we wouldn't either deal with or we would avoid completely. It's a good thing, and I think that that's one thing you learn when you come to our house.